Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Live Reality Games Recap Podcast. I'm your host, Naomi Calhoun. We're talking Scotty Survivor, Episode 1. It kicked ass. With me, my co-host, Lee. Lee, how are you?
I'm doing great. I'm excited to be covering this season. It's a great way to start off.
Really quite the banger of an episode. Shane, when you get your life together, you're going to have to tell us how much fun you had making Episode 1. So, how are you?
I'm great. Episode 1 was fantastic. It definitely probably took the longest to do just because it was, starting off the whole season. But watching it live, even though I'd already seen it, was just like a great feeling to have it out there. One of the most enjoyable moments of my year for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the best part. When you start, the train has left the station. And with us, the first person eliminated, but not last place in our hearts, it's Gerald. Gerald, how are you?
I'm good.
It's nice to meet you. Nice to have you here. And for the first parts of this podcast, we're going to get to talk to you about your time in the game. So to start off, how did you hear about Scotty Survivor?
Yeah, I kind of heard about it on a Facebook post that I think Shane and Govin made. And it definitely caught my eye immediately because I've always been a big fan of the show. And it was my first opportunity to do something like this. And I didn't get the chance before, so I was excited.
Do you have a favorite season or winner from Survivor?
Not really. I feel like some of the later seasons I kind of like them because there's all this advantage gathered and there's all these twists and things that happen in the game that make it interesting. Some people don't really like it, but for me, I find that entertaining about the show.
Shane is shaking his head.
Sorry, the later seasons are a no for me. 38, 39, nope.
Oh.
There's not going to be Scotty Survivor Edge of Extinction? I'm offended.
No, absolutely not.
No, please.
Lee, did you have any questions for Gerald off the top of your head?
I have one, but it's kind of covered later at the tribal.
Wait, go for it.
I'm just curious. So we know how the vote goes. It went 5-3-1. I just want to know, why did you vote for Leo out of the group?
I guess I had a plan with people that I was supposedly aligned with, and we were supposed to kind of split the vote 3-3 between, I think it was Leo and L, and it just didn't go that way. And I cast one vote for Leo, which in the end didn't matter at all. And yeah, that was it.
And why L? Do you know why you guys landed on L? I could understand why you might land on Leo. No offense to Leo, but do you know why L was the other name that came up?
Honestly, it was kind of my idea, so I didn't really have a reason for any name in particular. It was just that I reached out to some people, and L was not one of the people that I reached out to. And
just not in the alliance. Goodbye. I love that. Well, when you had day one, because I'm sure you were expecting a different Survivor experience, and then a global pandemic hits, and it's not very similar at all. But did you get the feeling of Survivor while sort of playing via online as well as in person?
Definitely. I still feel the aspect of the gaming going on and constantly having to think about if other people are trying to orchestrate some kind of alliance or some kind of blindside. And it's kind of anxious, I guess, and you don't really know where what's happening at each point in time, but you just got to find a way to not get over paranoid about it, and hopefully secure yourself a place in the game.
Yeah, Shane, can you talk to me a little bit about episode 1 and Gerald in particular in episode 1? Is there anything that maybe we didn't see or anything you just want to talk about?
Ooh, I definitely think that you guys saw most of what was going on. I will say that like I wanted to show more of like what was going on between like the Gerald, Audrey, Hallie, like because I think there was definitely some debate on whether or not they wanted to stick with Gerald there.
Mhm.
And I think we didn't really quite show that as much, just for timing purposes. Like the premiere was already super long. I guess we could have added it in there, but like they seemed pretty set. But I think there was definitely some like debate at the beginning of like, well, could we like try to make a move on this alliance really early on? And I think that will be foreshadowed in future episodes.
Okay. Yeah, I think overall, like, at a tribe of 9, first of all, I don't know why I thought there was just tribes of 10, and so the whole time I'm like, huh, where's
But
the
you used
10th
to-
person?
We're too used to 20 people casts.
I was just like, oh, we're missing somebody here. I was like, oh, it's only 9 people. There's not a lot of room to hide, and there's also just, I think, Gerald, I thought you were implementing correct strategies. Do you have an idea of like what you could have done to maybe change your position in the game and not get voted out? Have you thought about that? Like every Survivor fan obsesses over?
I guess I could have like laid back a little more. I felt that I wanted to try and like get things together, and it didn't necessarily work out. But if I was just like hanging back and just letting everybody else like do the talking, I feel that like the spotlight would eventually like land on like one person, and like I can just like hide behind their back and like just be safe for a while. But that's not really how I wanted to play. I just wanted to have fun, try out this thing, see if it might work, and it didn't. But that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, I just
Yeah.
wanted to add really quick. One other thing that I kind of forgot here was like
Yeah.
the part of them splitting the vote was that like they thought he had the idol, and like a big
Right.
reason that they thought that was because because of his connection with Audrey, but which we did show, but the other reason was because during the scavenger hunt, Gerald did one of the puzzles, the production puzzle, and he was the only one given the production puzzle. It was too complicated to like air it to like show like the puzzle and whatnot. But there was this theory that there was an idol clue hidden in the puzzle, and they ran with it. Like they just were so convinced that like he had an idol because of the puzzle.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's so smart. Like if there was actually like a clue in the puzzle. Is that the puzzle that May did on the other tribe?
Yeah.
Well, and that's also something that I think Lee and I, you both know, happened in Survivor Michigan, where the 2 tribe leaders got to like basically ask for idol clues in exchange for losing points. So I was waiting for something like that to happen, or just like, hey, you cannot do this and lose the points, but get an idol clue. And I was going to be like, somebody do it. Somebody take an idol clue. But who needs idol clues on this show, apparently? You can just find them without it. But we're talking about that later. Gerald, when I feel like people targeted you a little bit from knowing all the survivors' names, were you surprised that came up? Did you hear about that like during the game itself? You had them memorized?
Not really, actually. Like, I didn't know that they like knew how well I performed on the task itself, because like I had signed up to like do the task, but like they wouldn't be able to see how well I did during the task. But I guess just the fact that I took it on so readily like showed them that I came in like kind of prepared in a sense. So maybe it wasn't the best decision to go for that, but it was what I was trying to do in order to like pull my weight on the task as well.
Yeah. I think any Survivor fan would be like, hey, I can do this part. It's the one thing I know.
And another thing, I think, now I don't know this for a fact, but I think, Gerald, you're probably like the only one who really knows Survivor on your tribe, because I think a lot of people this season don't really know the show.
I think Leo is the other one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if that was me, I'd be going off like, yeah, I can list every winner. I don't know if I could say their last names though, but I can definitely list every winner.
I feel like Leo is the exact opposite kind of person to do that task. He would not be willing.
Yeah, I mean, I probably wouldn't do that task. Just I'd be too worried. But that's my. I would take the Leo approach. I'd say.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm with Gerald on this. I'd be like, I mean, I guess I'll do it if nobody else wants to because nobody else knows them. Fine. And then I'll be like, oh, I did so bad, guys. Don't worry, I sucked. Yes, and this is our own Dustin, the sort of LRG king, was hoping you would go far, but we were rooting for you. Is there anything else you experienced in the game that maybe either didn't make the edit or that you want to talk about, Gerald?
I guess I kind of regret like sending out that message at the start because people didn't really take well to it. I guess like it was just ammunition that I gave them towards me when the comment was a bit out of the blue, and I thought I was just like throwing an idea out there, but like little did I know like they would really be like treating it seriously and like forming up an alliance against me.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, that was a bit intense, but I also like that people were kind of like, maybe I should go with this. Like the options were there. I just think in the end it didn't maybe work out the way that you wanted. And Shane, I know that you had to film this tribal council again. Gerald, how awful was that?
I mean, I guess it wasn't that bad because like I kind of knew how it was going to turn out already, and like we were kind of already like joking about it at that time. So I think I had like gotten over the fact that I was the first one eliminated, and it was just an opportunity to meet all of them again, which was pretty good.
So wait, Shane, did you have to film this later? Like you filmed it, closed the books, and then oh shit, we didn't record. We have to get everybody back together.
Yeah, we did not.
Oh no,
we had not filmed. So like the way we did it, like we had uploaded everything into like our folders, and then like as we were like editing, we were like, oh shit, like the person that we thought had uploaded it like just didn't. So now we have made the right decision to double, triple check everything before we move on. But yeah, I mean, first time doing this, first tribal on Zoom. There were bound to be some glitches. This was the first one. Yeah.
So were other people eliminated from this tribe when you were recording this tribal council? Like
the game had already finished.
oh no! You made it to the end.
Yeah, woo! It makes Leo flipping off the camera all the funnier.
Yeah, like, that was, and he purposely spelled. I don't know if anybody saw this, but like he said Gerald's name the way he said it in the show, like incorrectly, and spelled it wrong on purpose.
Oh.
Oh yeah, Leo.
Of course he would.
And Gerald, have you talked to anybody that you played with? Like, I guess you had to reunite post game, but have you talked to anybody outside of the game? Are you friends with anybody now, or is it a little difficult because the pandemic?
No, I think it's actually a good opportunity to like get to know some of these people. I've like met some of them for meals and like become like quite good friends with some of them. So I think it's really nice that I had this opportunity, and like even though I'm the first one eliminated, like there's a special distinction for being that person, and I'm glad to have it.
I've been voted out first too. It's a club, and I'll let you know our secret Facebook group very soon. Lee, do you have any more questions for Gerald? Anything coming to mind?
I'm horrible at coming up with questions on the spot.
It's okay. I just want to know if people have things they're curious about. Like, we have our 15 minutes.
Our 15 minutes of fame.
Yes.
No questions really.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Shane, go ahead, Lee.
how does it feel to be the very first person voted off Survivor? Like, you have that title. Nobody can take that away from you.
Yeah.
You'll go down in the history books.
I think it's really cool in a sense.
Yeah.
Might not be the proudest thing, but it's definitely an interesting thing to have on your like record or whatever.
Yeah. Would you ever play Scotty Survivor again?
Um,
All Stars.
All Stars.
I'm not sure if I fall into the category of all stars, but
I mean,
definitely
half-
open to playing again.
I mean, does half an all-star cast ever fall into the category of all-stars?
What is this, RuPaul's Drag Race? I mean, who knows? But would you ever play like something else like this again, like one of the games where it's maybe like a weekend or not on college campus? Have you ever thought about that?
Or the real
Yeah.
show?
I'm not too sure about the real show, but definitely quite excited about those like one-day minis. I really had a lot of fun the last time production organized it for us, and
Right.
fun fact, I also like kind of like hosted it for some friends of mine, and I think they enjoyed it as well. So I think it was really cool.
Yeah. Oh my God, Daryl, if you start your own game, I'm there. I'll help. Whatever you need, we'll be there. Shane, any last thoughts? I know Gerald has to go pretty soon.
Yeah, Gerald, it was just a pleasure to have you on the show. And I very much enjoyed like watching you play. I was like, wow, I was just so fascinated by like the way that you were strategizing. So it was a pleasure to have you. It's great to have you on production, and we will, in one way or another, continue to see you as part of the community. So thanks for coming on the podcast today.
Yeah, thank you all so much as well.
Thank you, Gerald. It's been a pleasure, and we appreciate it. And hopefully, I'm starting the campaign of Gerald All Stars. You can find us on Twitter, tweeting that every single week. We'll be there.
Get it on the trending page.
Let's get it trending, folks. Awesome. Gerald, thank you so much. Have a great rest of your day.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.
So, folks, we're here. I don't like the zoomed in face.
I don't like it either.
I don't
It's
like
very
it either.
terrifying. So, episode 1, quite the banger. I loved it. Shane, do you want to start us off? Like, do you have a favorite moment from this episode in particular?
Oh God. I think
Nope.
I have like some spots that were like my go-to. The first one was definitely when everybody harped on Zoe for singing. I thought that was hilarious. And then
Poor girl.
we have Corey being like, God, I wish I had thought to sing in the video.
Yeah.
The stark difference between the two. Definitely Olivia talking about Leo smacking his lips. That was hysterical.
And what she says to him, too, is like, you're chewing gum or a really tough piece of meat? Like, just keep it to yourself, Olivia. Keep it to yourself.
And then his response to, like, yeah, I was chewing on a piece of gristle. I don't
What's
know.
Very
gristle?
Leo. Very Leo.
This is going to be a common thing throughout the series. It's just going to be me asking, what is this thing?
It's like,
And what is that?
What's gristle?
Gristle is like the fatty parts of meat that is like not really something you would normally eat. Yeah. And gristle is not an American thing. I'll say that, Lee. It's not just like weird US content.
Okay, so just
Yeah.
thinking like, oh, does all American people eat gristle? Is
No,
that a thing you
no.
guys do?
No, absolutely not. Well, Lee, what were your favorite? What were your highlights of the episode? What is the favorite moment you had?
I am shipping Leo and Olivia. Team Olivia. I'm making a
Olivia.
hashtag.
Olivia,
No,
yeah.
Also,
Oh, and Zoe's here. Hi, Zoe.
Hi, Zoe.
Yeah, poor Zoe. A real roasting in this first 10 minutes.
Yeah. Also throughout the episode, I wrote down whenever they were talking this alliance has this person, I kept saying, who's Holly? And then it took me like half an hour later to realize, oh, they're saying Hallie. Because I kept thinking,
I had the same thing.
Like, is Holly like a producer that they think is in the show?
This cast was horrible at pronunciation. Sorry, guys. You just were.
It's okay. It happens. I loved Leo mispronouncing cosplay. I don't know if anybody else caught that, but he says cosplay, and that fucking sent me. And
Like the Costa.
Yeah, like cosine. Like, what is he talking about? And then I absolutely loved Eric just harassing the shit out of his professor. That poor professor, to get truly the weirdest email. It didn't have to be that weird, right? Like, what were the parameters?
Write a 3-paragraph admiration letter to your professor.
It didn't have to be that weird. And yet Eric went there, which I loved. And then he decides, you know what? I'm all in on this professor thinking I'm a weirdo. Let me interrupt the class. I loved it.
His accent, I don't know what that was, but that was a choice.
Okay, Eric says it definitely had to be that weird. Eric, I'm going to argue that's not the case. But start your freshman year off strong.
What a way to start it. Just say, can I teach this class? What class was that anyway? It looked like a weird maths class.
Oh, God. I think it was like, Eric would know it. It's some complicated math thing that I don't know anything about.
Yeah, math class that I didn't have to take as a communications major, that's for sure. And so this episode, I think what we really see are the personalities come through. And that's what I love about this episode in general. Like, I mean, Kushi calling dominoes, Leo and Olivia's sort of, I don't know. I'm not calling it a romance. And then like, everybody just kind of shitting on Audrey. I felt so terrible. But I'll say this. Leo's comments about Audrey reminded me, no offense to Audrey, about the confessionals that Cochran gives about Julia and Cara Moen.
Oh.
Where he's like, the vanilla flavor comments.
But people want vanilla. Nobody wants Julia flavored.
That's what it felt like a little bit.
Poor Audrey.
A little harsh.
Yeah, a little harsh. Audrey seems lovely. And she wasn't the first boot out, so some of you in our draft were wrong. And you should feel bad. I don't know.
I mean, I said she could surprise me and be second boot, and here we are.
So shady. Well, so first of all, we have everybody meet in tribes on Zoom. Now, Shane, when did you guys start filming? I guess it must have been September of this year. So like the pandemic had already occurred and was still continuing on. Mm-hmm. So Zoom is normal. Do you think that anybody was hindered by the Zoom? Because I actually thought that like most of the students who were not in Pittsburgh, I was like, it's not Philadelphia. Don't say Philadelphia. In Pittsburgh, do you think that they were able to sort of overcome the hindrance of Zoom?
I mean, I think that, like, yes, but they're always at a disadvantage because they could just meet with people in person. And, like, yes, they could, like, technically scour online for, like, idols, but, like, definitely having, like, an in-person component, like, makes it easier for people. I also think that the in-person players probably put, like, more time into the game just because, like, they were, like, able to meet with people in person if they so choose to. So I think, like, yes and no. Like, I definitely think that, like, they did a very good job handling the situation, but I do think that it was a hindrance. And, you know, like, we cast, this was, like, a condition that, like, our university gave us. They were like, you really need to have, like, remote people. That was something that we consciously did. But, like, for season 2, we didn't do it again because we felt like it was a very strong hindrance.
Definitely. I mean, luckily, like, you have Kushi and Kevin who went to high school together, so don't worry, they're safe. But yeah, definitely, it's a struggle to be remote. But I also think like after playing a bunch of orcs, like it can be done. It just is going to take like twice the work.
Yeah. Well, I think the thing is like with orgs, like everybody is playing remotely. Excuse me. But like here, when you have like the kind of mix of people, like people that literally live right down the street from each other, and then like 2 people that are in California, like that's a huge difference.
Mm-hmm. And Lee, what do you think a remote player should be doing to counteract how difficult it is to be remote?
Something when I do orgs, when I'm in them, I just try to talk with everyone. Like even if it's just like a random 1-sentence conversation, it just gives them an opening to be like, okay, maybe I can talk to this one person.
Mm-hmm.
And take advantage of like time differences, because like when it's like your guys' morning, it's like my afternoon, so like I can put more time into that. So yeah, just try and like take advantage of what little you have.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And I think also that I think one of the big sort of hindrances of being remote, because I've played a couple orgs, not too many, but you just get so paranoid when you can't meet with people, and you get so paranoid about what a group effort is going to be against you. So I just think that like I can imagine that the remote kids sort of get way more paranoid as time goes on because it's just so hard to live. But that's okay. We still have tons of episodes.
We'll let it play out.
Shayna's. So with this first challenge, thank you for doing this. I love this challenge. One of my all-time favorites. It's a shame we can't kind of do it in live reality games because it fucking slaps. What are some of the highlights we didn't see from this challenge?
Oh God, I literally have to pull up the
the list. Well, I love the one at the end was so funny.
Oh,
the singing the song.
Brought that back for season 2. I literally I don't think I've ever been more upset than when I was on that call. Like it literally took them 3 hours to get that.
It's like it's like, you know, the Big Brother comps where it's like, oh, one person like did, 10 minutes, the other person 3 hours. It's like, oh, they lost.
Yeah, it was painful, like to say the least. And then you, of course, like you have like Olivia. Oh, right, yes. That was so one of the tasks was that they had to make the executive producers laugh. And so
yeah, we saw that with Jacob. I think he did one.
Yeah, but on the other tribe, they didn't get this on video, unfortunately. But Leo, I don't know how he did it, but he somehow got me laughing about Anthony's dead dog. Like, it was so bad. He made some joke about it, and I like the way that Leo talks. Like, sometimes I just like can't contain myself.
Yeah.
And I lost. Like, I just lost. But I guess some of the other highlights were so there was one task. Michael like put like 10 shirts on top of another, and he just like wore them for like 15 minutes. That was pretty hysterical because he literally could not move. What was
that
another
shit
one?
Hurts.
Yeah, that was really hard. They made a Scotty Survivor Xfinity promo, which was just like so weird. What else?
And that's your sponsor, right? Like, technically your sponsor.
Yeah, that was funny. Well, we sort of saw it, but like you didn't really get to see the full extent of Corey's Andrew Carnegie like costume. That was really funny. Olivia sang the Survivor theme song in public, and could not get the Survivor theme song whatsoever. Like she tried maybe like 50 times to like I swear, like she could not figure it out, which was really ironic considering that she was a music major. Like really funny. I kept being like, no, that's not it. That was really good.
Please tell me Zoe did that challenge for the other tribe.
Michael did on the other tribe.
Oh, that's funny.
I think we saw most of the like funny ones.
Yeah.
Some of them were kind of basic, but
Oh wait, you know what? It feels like Amazing Race tasks where like somebody just cannot get the roadblock, and you're like, oh my god, it's been like 4 hours.
Yeah,
Well,
we had that today with our we were just doing scavenger hunt for season 2 today, and like we've just finished it up, and like it was the same thing. I was like, oh my god, we're back again.
nobody can get this. Well, Leah, I don't know about you, but in retrospect, now getting to see episode 1, getting to see where everybody is in the game, I feel very confident in my winner pick of May. I don't know how you feel. I forget who your winner pick is, but how do you feel about the cast and your prejudgments of them?
I have to say that my prejudgments were my winner picks were Kevin and Dorothy. Kevin, I'm a little more iffy on now because why would you tell everyone like, oh yeah, this one person that's also remote, we happen to live right next to each other.
Oh, Kevin.
And Dorothy, I don't know. She wasn't featured a lot this episode, which does make me nervous, but it's only one episode. Maybe it's like, we're hiding you in the pre-merge because you're going to do great in the merge, so hope for her.
Yeah, I love when people try and educate College Survivor like it's not just, what confessionals do you have?
Yeah. I think for the most part, a lot of my presumptions were kind of, not to toot my own horn, right? Actually, no. Elle, I think I didn't have too good hopes at first, but now I'm just like loving her.
Yeah. I love Elle.
Just her.
Elle saying shaving your eyebrows is bisexual culture, and Leo being like, oh, okay. Oh my god. And I just like, again, I love everybody shitting on were they shitting on Corey for the beer? Like this whole cast, because I watched this episode with I just watched it sort of out in my apartment, and my boyfriend at the end was like, they're so mean to each other.
with Leo saying the definition of douchebag, and you'll just see Eric's face.
It's not nice.
Yeah, they were kind of brutal.
But it's episode 1. I feel like in retrospect, when you watch a lot of episode 1s back, people are fucking brutal to each other.
I mean, it's your first impressions, and people love saying negative things about others.
Mm-hmm.
Like the whole oh, we love you, Zoe. Keep singing.
Yeah, Zoe keeps it.
Icon.
Iconic. I also love Sarah. We got the Sarah choices, which
Got a lot of that.
maybe we'll have to keep a count going of how many times she says it. If what I've heard from you is correct.
Let's make it a drinking game.
Drinking game. And overall, I think this episode, the strategy was really just like, I guess we're gonna vote out Gerald because he's going wild. But Shane, when you mentioned that like people were thinking about going with him, what do you think? I know we'll probably see it in a future episode. Like, what do you think the motivating factor was? Is like, let's not be part of a big alliance?
Well, I think we saw it from like Dorothy a little bit. Of just like, I don't know how I feel about this group. Like, these are like Anthony, Olivia, and Leo are like very, very, very outspoken people. Yeah. And like Dorothy is much more reserved and shy, and Jacob to a degree. So I think with those two, they were kind of like, well, like, do we want to be like the quiet one in this group? Because we'll probably just be picked off first. And she liked Hallie. So she was like, well, I don't want Hallie to go.
Right.
So, yeah.
And that's funny because I almost feel like being the quiet person in a loud group could be advantageous, because if Leo and Olivia, like, you know, go like Captain America Civil War against each other, it's just like you just have to pick a side. Like, it's all right.
I think it's honestly the opposite that people should be concerned about if you're the loud person in a quiet group.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And who knows more about that than me, huh?
Well, we might sneak peek. We might see more of that later.
Ooh.
I'm sure because I do think that Olivia is so like sort of full of personality and full of energy for the game that I feel like if you're playing with her, you want to work with her, but at the same time you're like, oh my god, like, is she gonna just like kind of Leah? Do you think a comparison to Isabella from Survivor Boston is
Yeah.
apt here.
Yeah, I said that in the cast assessments. Like, she's giving me Isabella vibes, and this episode is just proving it more. She has personality. She knows how to play the game. She seems like she's friends with everyone. And we saw what that did with Isabella, and we'll see if it translates to Olivia as well.
Yeah, watching Olivia play the first week definitely was like, it was great because she was like set up in a great place, but it was from a production standpoint, it was concerning for her game because I felt like she was being very loud, and I was like, I don't know how long this is gonna last because people are gonna catch on to this, so like they're gonna know that she's super loud. She's not making any effort to hide her personality, which of course I love, but in a game of Survivor, the outspoken ones were definitely are more seen as the bigger threats. So I was definitely concerned for her after this.
Yeah,
Especially
I couldn't.
For Audrey after she said she wouldn't.
I couldn't agree more. Like, I think Olivia's awesome, and the one thing is, like, if she's sort of like really likable the whole way through, then she's gonna get to the end and be a really sort of amazing personality that could like easily sweep a jury. But if you're with Olivia and you start to see that people don't like her, she can easily become like a Nora or an Angelina and be like the sort of zero vote finalist. If like it's all about recognizing what people think of a person like Olivia. And I think Leo is very much the same. Like, if Leo's seen as like a manipulator, then all of a sudden it's like, oh, like this guy, we got to get him out. But if he's just seen as like a dickhead, then I don't think he'll get many jury votes. Classic.
They both could easily win and not win at the same time.
Right. They're the Schrodinger's cat of Survivor players.
Yeah.
Also, go ahead.
I was just saying, I think it just really depends on what the jury's looking at. Like, if the jury's like full of like, I'm gonna be open and respect the game rather than you hurt me, I'm not voting you. Mm-hmm. People, then it could really see if one of them would win.
So what I want to talk about now are these idol searches, because when you mentioned in the amazing recap with Literal Queen from Dave vs. Goliath, Gabby Pascuzzi, about the fact that nobody found these with clues, that this was Olivia was just going nuts and found it. Jane, tell us about this.
Yeah, so people were going. So you probably heard about the story I told about Corey finding it before the game even started, which we made him give back because that was ridiculous. However, so the way that Olivia found this was definitely it was not just like a blind find. So something that I did every so often, just because it is a college campus and like we want to make sure that things weren't taken, I'd go check on the idols. So one day, Anthony saw me checking for the idol, or like he saw me coming like up like a sketchy like path per se.
Yeah.
And so he told Olivia that he's like saw a producer like in like a general area. So she went back to where she'd already searched. She did find it on her own, but she definitely had like a tip of like
where to go.
Where to go. My biggest question was, why did Anthony not go search himself? And why did he tell her? Because as soon as they finished their meeting, she bolted.
Yeah, I feel like you have to go like, oh, do you want to go together? Like, why would you tell her to not go with her?
Yeah. But I will say that was the only, like, throughout the season, like, people found idols without a clue, like, all the time. They just, like, would search and search and search. And, like, I didn't even know what to say about it. Like, no matter where I hit it, like, they found it. So...
So can you tell us a little bit about the online idols and the idols that are digital and like even just the baseline of how those work? Because I'm really fascinated by that.
Right. So what we did was, the Ogun tribe didn't matter because there weren't any like remote people. So like that one didn't really matter as much. We still had it, but like it didn't quite matter as much because any of them could go look for it. With the Balder idol, I think we made it a little bit harder to find on campus so that like the remote people were not like at a severe disadvantage for that. But basically we hid a clue on the Survivor CBS Instagram, like we just like commented on like a post for each tribe, and it was like congrats, like we've like found your like next clue or whatnot, and so when they got there, depending on whether or not they were virtual in person, they would either get like the next like clue to find the in-person idol, or for the virtual people, like we gave them like a sort of like equation or whatnot to like find the missing word, and then like that would like take they like we'd give them like we'd give them like a Tumblr page of sorts, and like they had like a password protected like link, and once they got the password, like they got the idol. So yeah, there will definitely be some people finding the Instagram link at some point.
That's very funny. I love a password protected Tumblr as an idol. That
Yeah, I mean, I kind of wish I was thinking about it like recently and like thinking about like the orgs that I played and like God, we should have just been on Discord this whole time because we could have used the bots to like hide idols, but like no.
You guys know Discord. I don't. I just comment and say hello and then run away.
There's like a feature within Discord where like you can use like a bot to like take you on an idol adventure or whatnot. And like I didn't know that prior to. We were on Slack before and then we moved to Discord. Yeah.
As a working professional, why? Why would you do that?
Because a lot of the people in our like university administration were on Slack, so we were just like it's easier to like talk with them.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, definitely, it was definitely a thing we talked about a lot about like how to make it fair, and this was like the best solution that we came up with. I'm not saying it's perfect, but it was like what we settled on. And I think also like the remote people cared less about the idols in general.
Right. So if I found the idol as a remote person, or I found the clue, and then I found the idol, would that idol then be out of play for the physical people?
Yeah, we'd go and take it.
Cool. I love that. It's really, I mean, look, you're in an unprecedented situation to do College Survivor. I think it's a successful workaround. And I do love that you're like, oh, they don't care.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't want. We obviously knew that like the searching for idols in general is like a huge part of the game, so we didn't want to like take that out just because two people were remote. Like we wanted the people that were in person to still be able to have that experience of like searching for idols, but we also knew that that would like create like a very unfair distribution, so we had to just like think of that. Idols, of course, they're a huge part of the game. So,
and I'm so happy that a player like Olivia found an idol, because in like Survivor, including College Survivors, we see like the same players always find an idol. Like if somebody like Michael found it, I just been like, oh, of course he found it, because his type of player always finds it. They usually like find the idol, hold on to it, never play it until Final 5, and then misuse it. But with a player like Olivia, like we don't know what she's gonna do with the idol. Like she could never use it. She could use it on somebody else. She could throw it in the river for all we know.
That would not be off brand for her throwing.
So this episode, I think it's not that we didn't get like a ton of strategy. I think we got a lot of strategy, but I think that what we got is like so much set up for the future that I'm really excited about. And one thing I wanted to talk about that you had mentioned was Sarah and May. This weird relationship between the two of them. What is going on with them? Are they okay?
This relationship is definitely one to keep an eye on. It's not the last heard of Sarah and May. So a little bit of backstory with them. Sarah and May were almost freshman year roommates, which is not like something that was recorded, so we don't have that on tape. And I didn't know that until like mid-season. So that was something that was really interesting when I was watching it back, and May being like, wow, I don't trust her. So the whole reason that Sarah felt so comfortable is because they already had like this like kind of like existing relationship. So she was like, oh, like I know this girl. So like we can like talk about strategy without it being weird, because I truly don't think that Sarah's a smart person. I don't think she would have done that with anybody else on that early in the game. So it was definitely shocking and also kind of hypocritical, considering that May had formed an alliance on night 1. 3 other people. So I was kind of like, whoa, what? Like, I don't know what the vibes are there. There's definitely, May was definitely kind of snaky with Sarah there. And like I said, it's not the last that we've seen of these two. I think there will be more.
Right. We're gonna see May right up in the final tribal council where she wins, and then I get all the credit.
We'll see.
Obviously.
We'll see.
So
I feel like May
Go
is
ahead.
going to May is probably eventually going to have a decision where Zoe and Sarah are going to go after each other, and she has to make a decision on which who, since they apparently have this weird rivalry with each other. Well, it seems very one-sided.
I think the the qualm will be like there's like this like Apple Mile alliance that like is trying to stay secret, and like I think May will have to juggle like how that will not get out and like how Sarah won't find out about it.
So I have a question about why did I might have missed this. Why is everybody referring to Eric and the Spud Gang? What did I miss? Did I miss something in the episode?
No idea.
Okay, I don't understand it either. Maybe Eric will get voted out next, and then we will understand when we talk to him. But yeah, that's I've been trying to piece that together, and I was like, oh, I don't know what's going on.
No, I could not tell you. I was honestly so annoyed when I was in the chat. I was like, can you guys just like enjoy the people in the episode too? Eric is great, but like
no one knows.
Nobody knows. Thank you, Zoe. I don't understand either. Well, I really like this Apple Mile alliance. Also, okay, fucked up challenge. Did one person have to eat 10 apples?
No, 2.
2 people. Okay.
I think it was 5.
Okay, because I was like, holy shit, like that's one person eating 10 apples is fucked
It was
up.
5, yeah.
I think this is a fun alliance, a good group of people. It's Zoe, it's May, and it's
Eric.
Corey and Eric.
Corey and Eric. Yes. It was
Which
10.
is kind-
Zoe insists it was 10.
Well,
which
5.
is fucked up about.
Oh, 5 like per tribe member. Too many apples.
Yeah. I think this is a good alliance. What do you think, Lee?
This alliance kind of surprised me, sort of. Like, I kind of understand Zoe, Corey, and Eric, because Zoe and Corey know each other, and then Eric seems like the type of person that would get along with Corey. I'm surprised that May is in this alliance. Only because, like, she came off, like, very sweet and soft-spoken, and they're very out there, to say the least.
Mm-hmm.
So...
Yeah, I agree. I think it's like May's position in this group is tenuous.
Yeah.
To me.
Like if there's ever like a tie between like a 4 their alliance versus another 4, I see everyone going to May to be the one to flip.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, I can see that. Shane, were there any big alliances that am I forgetting about? Like we kind of see that there's this group of Ogun that like kind of bands together, but I really feel like that's just because Gerald was like, "Hey, I'm gonna vote one of you out." Like, wait, what?
Yeah. I think we'll see more Ogun alliances in the future, but for now, that's like kind of like what was going on with Baldur. Like we see the start of something forming with Amara and Michael.
Oh yeah. Hashtag Daddy Thick Alliance.
Which I'll just give a little sneak preview. There are more C's to come in the Daddy Thick. They have 2 right now. There's more to come.
Oh, I can't wait.
I hate that name so much.
And this was really like a great like a kind of quiet episode for Amara and Michael, but like I do think that they were very successful in like just bonding with people. But I feel like maybe Michael and Kevin are in the most tenuous positions on Baldur if they, let's say, lose the next challenge. I don't know, Lee, if you agree with that.
I was thinking more Zoe and Sarah are in the thing because Sarah seems like she's the one on the outs and Zoe is Zoe.
She's right here, Lee.
I'm sorry. I really like you. I'm commenting on what you came off in an episode.
Well, I think there must be. Here's my theory. because Zoe is one of the older students on her tribe. I think there's a power to an older student who kind of knows what they're doing, knows what life is like, where if you're a freshman, you want to hang out with the older kid to maybe get a better sense of the place you're living in. Also, maybe they'll buy you alcohol, but I don't condone that. But like you want to sort of hang out with the person who's older and maybe knows more about the situation that you're in. So I feel like Zoe could stick around for a little bit, just solely based on the fact that people want her seniority to sort of help them. But maybe I could be fully pulling that out of my ass. Who knows?
That could happen. What's the Paranoia game?
Shane is like, I'm not saying nothing.
What's that Paranoia game that they were all playing?
Yeah, what the fuck is that?
So it's a game. It's like kind of like telephone or sort of. So like you ask somebody a question, and they give you an answer, and then you flip a coin to reveal whether or not it's publicly or privately answered. And if they flip heads, then they have to publicly say like the answer to the name. And then like there's like it's typically like a drinking game where it's like Zoe.
Of course it was.
Zoe, girl.
It's like a drinking game where if you like flip it and it's heads, you reveal the name of the person, and then you can drink to find out what the question was.
Oh.
Like if it flips tails. Sorry, I'm getting this wrong. You say the name, right?
And you flip to let everyone know what the question was.
Yeah, exactly. And
I've actually played that before, but I think just under a different name.
Yeah.
I would never play that ever in a game of Survivor. Holy fucking shit. What a bad idea.
Zoe probably just wanted to stir shit up and
Like
get like
Mafia in a game of Survivor. Like, what?
Yeah, when they did that, I was like, guys, you gotta be kidding me.
You might as well be playing like Secret Hitler or something and seeing, okay, who's a great liar?
Yeah, that was
exactly.
really
Jesus. Oh my god, that is such a terrible decision, but okay.
we're kind of living for it.
Oh, she was waiting for all of them to be drunk so they can steal secrets.
Yeah, expose them. But maybe get to know your tribe. Survive. Let's make it through one vote and then see.
They weren't even going to tribal.
Messy.
Yeah. Get to know your tribe before you get them drunk.
Yeah. Or get them drunk to get to know your tribe. It's one or the other.
Underage people in this cast. We're not gonna.
We're not going to. And we don't endorse that here at Survivor Live Reality Games, Scotty Survivor. We don't endorse that.
Oh yeah, your guys' drinking age is 21. I keep forgetting that.
Humble brag, Lee. We get it. You can go to a pub, whatever.
I could. I just don't because I don't drink.
It's not worth it. As an adult, it's not worth it. So some other highlights here. I think Kushi called Domino's iconic. Did she have to? What's that?
She did it on the first call, so like everybody was watching her do it, which I think
she's wild.
I think that was really smart of her because everybody can be like, oh, like Kushi's like, here to do things. So like that was smart of her as a player. So like
the balls on that girl for doing that.
Yeah, that was
like these public challenges I would never do. Like the one Kushi did, the ones that Eric did, the one that Elle did. Like I don't know how they were able to do it.
Yeah, they definitely
did anyone do it on the Ogre tribe?
Which one?
The Call Domino's.
Oh yeah, Leo.
Did that go any?
Yeah, it just wasn't as funny.
Yeah.
That's just I think because she's got like that kind of like sweet voice where she sounds just like, oh, your manager can't if I bring you ingredients. I was like, shit, like just say something to get them to hang up. Like you don't need to keep the charade up. Like just let it go.
I found it so funny when Kushi was like, I'm doing a lot for my tribe, and she was just looking down painting her nails. Like, yeah, I'm doing a lot for my tribe.
Painting her nails as one of the challenges.
Yeah. I was like, girl, you are painting your nails like this is going to sound horrible because I just realized she's from California, like a valley girl.
I thought it was so funny how like they all no offense to them, but none of them were like thinking strategically about like which challenges to do. Like they were just like, oh, we'll do like these ones. Like if you thought about it, like the ones that you should do are the higher point ones. And like if you have to have multiple people on a higher point one, it's not worth it because you're basically splitting the points for like that.
I also think that was smart for Cushy to do a lot of the higher level ones with her being a remote player.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, I'm remote, but I'm valuable.
Exactly. Yeah, that was very smart of her.
Yeah. I think this was, so like in general, this was a very sort of middling episode for a lot of people, not in a bad way. It's the premiere. There's a lot to get to. But I think overall, like Cushy, Olivia, even Leo, I think to an extent, and actually Zoe, I thought didn't have a terrible episode. And Eric kind of had these really interesting episodes. And I think are in a good spot. Some people don't think Eric is, but I think Eric might be in a good spot going forward. Yeah, a great cast. Like overall, I was oh my god, I forgot to talk about my favorite moment, which is Leo talking about Gerald while Gerald is listing the names of the Survivor contestants, and then Gerald just goes like "Aras Biscuses" and like does not even try to pronounce Bishkowskis, and I was like, this is the funniest thing I've ever seen on Survivor.
Our editor did that so much justice. I was so thrilled with that. Shout out Shravya because she killed that.
So fucking funny. Oh my god. That I was like, again, like I don't know how you felt, Lee, but like I thought this was one of the strongest Survivor college premieres in a long time. We got so many characters, so many fun moments, so many sort of like things to look forward to in the next few episodes. I thought it was great. I mean, an Idol Find in episode 1, like you can't ask for much more.
Yeah, and couldn't be found by a better player. Yeah, this was a great premiere. Like, one thing I love about Survivor is when the vote is spread, like when 3 or more people get it. I hate unanimous votes. I hate when votes are blank to ones. And most premieres are like, I don't want to be the first one gone. This is the name everyone's saying. Let's all jump onto that. Especially with like a lot of college survivors, like their premiere, it's good, but the first tribal is never that interesting. And we all, like Gerald, he did play a lot, but he made that first tribal so entertaining. Like, he made it crazy. It wasn't just who's the one person that fucked up the challenge that everyone's going to vote for. Like, when can you say that the first Survivor was a split vote?
Yeah, exactly. I think that Gerald also caused a lot of chaos, but then also the tribe was sort of smart enough to say, hey, we're going to split a vote. Like, you have all of the elements of like fun tribe, a fun tribal council, and the chaos that will, I guess, kind of like follow them into the next episode, right? Like, this shit's not going away. They just threw 3 votes on Audrey, no problem. Like,
Yeah.
I can't wait for Audrey's revenge.
We'll see what happens with Audrey saying she would give the idol clue too.
Wow, what a move from her too.
Yeah,
So
that was
smart.
very. Yeah, I did not expect that from her. I just thought she'd be like the happy-go-lucky.
Wait till you see
player.
what next.
Oh, fuck.
She's gonna give them a fake
Wait.
clue. She's gonna make a fake idol.
Queen, come on.
Wait, I do have one question for Audrey that I'm like, why did you do this? And has nothing to do with the game. Why would you roll down a hill in your favorite jeans?
I knew you were gonna ask that. That's the question I've been wondering once.
Like, I was thinking that, like, what if you're rolling down a hill? Why are you in your favorite jeans? But
Like, as a college student, you have so many sweatpants. You have so many pajama pants. Just roll down the hill in your PJs. Oh, girl.
That was definitely that was a choice.
It was a choice.
Yeah, exactly.
I also thought the intro with her rolling downhill was so funny. It's like, I feel like this is just her game, just like happily rolling down a hill. I feel like I'm so mean to her.
No, I loved it. Audrey's an icon already, and we're only 1 episode in. And that's what I think is great about this cast, like Shane, is there's so many sort of like will be icons for years in the future characters. And it's really just a matter of like what's gonna happen. I mean, Gerald in 1 episode like really gave quite the splash.
And he didn't even have that much screen time.
No, not really.
No, he didn't. I loved it. I loved it.
Yeah.
So, Lee, any final thoughts for this episode?
Oh, it's just an amazing episode. This cast is just great. Like, there's no filler people. Like, there's no one there's like, we just need an extra person.
Right.
Like, who plans for a 3-3 split vote the first tribal?
On a tribe where there can be 3 other votes. Like,
Yeah. I also love, like, kind of this vote, like the vote count, the way it ended, kind of is similar to the very first tribal of Actual Survivor, with that being a 4-3-1 vote, and this one being a 5-3-1 vote.
wow. Knowledge that I don't possess whatsoever.
I know
Yeah,
that.
I mean, and it just goes to show how fun like, messy Survivor can be, right? We love messy Survivor.
Yeah.
Fast is nothing but messy.
This should be called Messy Survivor, not Scotty Survivor. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know what you're talking about.
So messy. All of our casts are so messy. So
So, I loved this episode. I can't wait to see more. Shane, where does everybody need to go to pay attention? Where do they need to like go to pay attention to Scotty Survivor?
yeah, our YouTube page. I think it's attached to the Live Reality Games post, but yeah, definitely check out our YouTube page. We're airing at Tuesdays at 8. And I don't know if we'll be having a post show for like the Scotty Survivor after show this week, just because I think we're hosting a tribal for season 2, but undetermined if we will. We'll post it on our social media on Instagram at Scotty_Survivor. This week's episode should be another fun one. Lots of drama already. Definitely, I'd say this next episode focuses a lot more on strategic information than like personalities. We got the whole rundown of who everybody is, and now it's game time.
Yeah.
Yes, and another thing is you can follow Live Reality Games on Twitter, but make sure the Scotty Survivor after show is a separate YouTube channel from the YouTube. So subscribe to both of them, which I found out when I was like, where's the Gabby? And I was like, oh shit, I found it. And yes, they had episode 1 with literally Gabby Pascuzzi from Survivor, David vs. Goliath. I loved it. She's amazing. I loved the episode. And support Live Reality Games online, Twitter, Facebook, our viewer group for Scotty Survivor. There is a Discord for Scotty Survivor where you can talk to Lee and myself and Shane about what is happening in the game. If you don't want anybody on Facebook to know that you're a nerd who likes Survivor. Other than that, subscribe to our YouTube channel and have a great afternoon, everybody. Say bye to the folks at home, Lee.
Bye.
Bye.